to what will probably be the last best 3 we cast from the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice group stages. And just from the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice itself, we have a good amount of content and matches and stuff coming up over the next few days, so we shouldn't be in any need to kind of run back to replays for the most part. We have live stuff starting up again, so this probably will be our last. In the bottom left, our red Terran player is Maru, whereas in the top right, our blue Zerg is Reynor. And fun to get this one underway. As I was just trying to discuss, I was trying, well, do I remember these games? I was like, I don't know if I do remember these games. Like, to me, this is a series that happened on mainstream for sure, and I know it happened on mainstream. I'm like, but what happened on it? And I was like, actually, I don't know, which is why I don't mind casting it as much. Originally, I wasn't really planning to cast this one, and I was like, well, yeah, maybe as we go through, I'll remember a little bit about the games and what happened, but until then, I guess we'll just see how it goes. If y'all watching this on YouTube and you end up enjoying the cast, do consider hitting the like button. And obviously you can subscribe to support as well. All of it helps us out. It's all greatly appreciated, of course. So you check that out, and otherwise we get ready to go. See what happens in amongst this game. As we just get this started up for the moment. We're going to see what this will turn on into. Refinery coming up out on the bottom side, a link speed upgrade coming through as well. Seeing our factory on the way as well. It's a lot of getting set up and ready to go for the moment, basically, as we establish through this game. Let's see what's going to be going on. Let's try and find the right observer. The cool thing about this game was it was on mainstream, so the observer is actually one of the official observers for the event, so we may as well use that camera, right? May as well use their point of view from it, and, you know. Then if you want to shout at me for missing something, it's not on me, for once. It's on the official obs. They get paid to miss it. OMG. As the observers are cool guys, and it's cool to kind of be back in an event. The observers were there as well, obviously. It was just so nice to have all of that kind of going on, and yeah, just being at an event again was really cool. I know it was something I probably talked about a couple of times in different videos and different matches, but geez, I mean, it was actually really cool just being able to see everyone again, walking around the hotel and just bumping into people you know, hadn't talked to before, not necessarily before, but yet. I met, you know, for example, I met Maddox, who's a Korean caster. He's someone who has been, you know, casting my events, and I've been casting some of his events for a while, and, you know, that was really cool to actually get to meet him. I was really surprised when I met him, actually. I was like, oh my god, really? Like, you're here? You know what I mean? Like, it was like, whoa, everyone's here. That's really something special. Gonna open up Battlecruiser here. Maru, I think, fair to say, has been one of the players who's been very true to playing Mech pretty much throughout the last couple of months. He has mech'd more than anybody else, and he's one of the only players which I don't mind playing Mech, because when he plays Mech, it actually looks good. When other players play Mech, it kind of looks a little bit silly a lot of the time. So, yeah, kind of excited to see a bit of Maru Mech here, if that is going to be the follow-up. Reynor straight into Roachroar and a few Queens on the way up at the moment, so getting that up and running. Just getting that established in the early stages. And see where we'll end up as a few Hellions come around the right-hand side as well. So they're just going to be making their way around here. And with these few Marines, going to get aggressive. So a bit of aggression, and the BC can teleport in and has the potential to obviously get a fair amount done as well. Especially if these Queens start to fall. If there's not enough Queens up, well, the BC is going to have a really, really good time, of course. So that is seemingly moving towards being a possibility at the moment. As these few Hellions continue through and just chasing down drones. Man, this is actually a disaster for Reynor. The start of this game is absolutely not going the way it's really meant to be. There's a few Hellions come through and a couple of these drones go down. I'm just going to be seeing a couple Queens coming back through and fighting against the rest of these Marines. So, Reynor takes a bit of damage on the start. Does clean up. I'm worried about the BC. The Overlord is sat there. He's building the spores. He's getting more Queens. It seems like he's very aware. Obviously, with the Overlord nearby, he has that information. So, he's aware. Let's see if he can execute after taking a few losses initially. That lair's still on the way up over there as well, so that's still coming on through, and just otherwise seeing the BC teleporting in with the Hellions. I mean, this seems like a disaster for Reynor, who is taking a ton of damage. No two ways to put it right. I mean, he is just taking a lot of damage here in these early stages. Things are going to counterattack across the map again. They're going to try and make something happen as well, but I'm just not sure how much they will do, and Reynolds is going to type GG. Not ready for this attack. Not ready for this game to go the way it went. And Maru very quickly picking up the 1-0 lead in the best of 3. You know, not watching Reynor versus Maru. Oh, I mean, like, you know, I was watching it, just not, like, I actually don't think I realized it had started when it was on. Yeah, I think that's fine. You're allowed to take breaks and you don't have to watch everything. And catch up on things. It's the beauty of StarCraft, right? If you do miss out on something, then you can catch up on it again. So, Reynor on the bottom left, Maru in the upper right as we get going into map number 2 of this best of 3 from the group stages. Oh yeah, I knew I'd get called out for this. Look, you had an event, you get a chance to actually go hang out with the players. I took a chance to hang out with the players. It's not like I didn't watch the whole series. I just didn't watch. I mean, it works out now because now I get to watch it. You know. You know what? I would have actually watched more series live in the auditorium as well, but it was actually really difficult. So the first time me and Horston were like, "Hey, let's go over to like the crowd and like sit in the crowd," because people have been like asking to see Horston. They didn't ask for me, but they were like, "Hey, Roddy, can you get Horston to come and hang out with us in the crowd and stuff?" We're like, "Okay." So I was like, "Oh, I'll go like over with you," just like we had the same break or whatever. So we both go over and we go kind of up the stairs that we're meant to go up and stuff, and we're basically in an area you can't get into without special passes, right? So in theory, we should just be able to walk straight into wherever we're going. So we get to this like barrier, which is the guy keeping people out from the the special place that we're allowed to be because we've got the special passes, etc., but isn't open to the public. And we're like, "Oh hey," and we show him our our pass, and we have a wristband, but obviously we're on camera, so we don't put the wristband on. We just keep the wristband attached to our pass, our lanyard. So we show him the lanyard and the wristband, and he's just like, he doesn't speak English, and he's just like, "No," and he's like tapping his wrist and like wristband. I'm like, here's me trying to be like, "We're on camera, we're not putting it on." And Horston's like, "It's okay, I'm just gonna put it on." I'm like, "Horston, you're such an amateur, mate. We're not putting wristband. I refuse to wear a wristband and then go on camera again." Like, that's not the biggest deal, but I just didn't want to put the wristband on, quite frankly. Call that, because I would have had to just take it off again, and then it's, instead of being a flat wristband on my lanyard, it's like a circle, it's round, and then it's more, awkward to have in my pocket or whatever. It was just not good, right? So I was like, no. I was like trying to explain to the guys, like, "Look, we're talent, one can't use," just like, no, you must have a wristband. So I was like, right, awesome, fuck it, we're going the other way. We're going the other way. So I turned him around, and we went back down the stairs, and we went into basically what's like the back door entrance, which is also fine to get to the stage from. It's just a little bit more complicated. Because you've got to go through like a winding pathway, so it's just a little bit more complicated. It's not like really a big deal or anything. So we go through this winding pathway, we come out right next to the stage, like right at the front. And my favorite thing is I was really tempted to just like walk up the stairs and walk over to the security guard and be like, "Oh hey, can I go back over the other way? Because you didn't let me in here, but I'm in here anyway." So yeah, I didn't. I was I was less confrontational than that, and we just sat and watched the game. I think we watched Hero Marines Down together. I think it was during that, so there's there's a Katowice adventure for you guys. Katowice adventures, huh? Katowice adventures. Brilliant. Well, as we get settled down, guys, just really seeing where we go to, honestly, right now. Just getting everything set up and everything, and getting a lot of things ready to go. So far, so good across the board. in this game number 2. Maru leading 1-0 off that aggressive attack the first game. This time, building into stim and getting going from there. And thank you, Birdman Warrior, for that 5-month resub in the chat while I was storytelling as well. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Well, just going to be seeing the Viking clearing out a few of these overlords at the moment. So clearing out that and having a good time of it. So that is ongoing as well here. As you just see the SCV coming up towards the natural. The Hellions and the Reaper out down to the other side. Just going to be seeing that Overlord over here going to get caught again. This Viking has been terrorizing. I mean, he's only killed 1 Overlord so far, but it feels like he's killed 100. Like that Viking's been doing nothing but attacking. So, yeah, Viking getting active and staying active there, which is a lot of fun to see. We're just going to have a few Hellions still poking in onto that Queen as well, so... yeah, there's a little bit of action here and there. Nothing too crazy. There's going to be seeing our Medivacs coming back through, and they're going to start boosting out down to the bottom side of the map also. They're going to make their way along as Hellions, the Reaper, going to get rid of a little bit of creep spread here as well, so that will go down. These Marines and Medivacs will come across the map, and like I say, we'll see what they can do over the next few moments. Hellions get turned around once more. Marines unloading in the corner of the main base. Let's see what they can get up to then, because potential for a lot to happen right here, I think. Let's see our Marines starting to fight that lair and start to take that down. I'm just going to be seeing this little drop actually doing pretty well to begin with. Having a pretty good startup at least, and again, a good kickstart. It's just going to be having the Medivacs then pushed away. Altogether then, Maru putting some good pressure on. Going to come back through and get a few more drones, just being so annoying with the multitasking so far as the Lings run forward. They're going to grab these Hellions and clean up, and while Reynor took some damage, he's obviously, dealt some damage back, right? I think very important to note is that he's really been able to just have a lot more pushback than, I guess, previously, I don't want to say necessarily expected per se, but, yeah, has just, for the most part, just been able to push back, I suppose. So, yeah, be able to kind of clean Maru up and actually get himself to have a chance in this game compared to what happened in the game number 1, which is obviously over in the, blink of an eye. As Rain's going for these Banes engaging, and a Widowmine shot will go off. Continue back and forwards then, just a little bit longer. Armory coming through, the 1-1 upgrades, and the combat shield are all coming online as well. So that's all still happening. Well, I see another attempt to drop in the main base, but this will not go all too well. And that will be cleaned up. And now, defending to the front, Widowmine's going to get a good shot off on the Lings. No, last second split was phenomenal, honestly, from Reynor to survive there, minimizing damage taken. Job very well done, because that could have gone very, very wrong very quickly, quite honestly. I actually already thought it had gone a little bit wrong, to be honest with you. But well, it turned out to be just about okay, huh? Just about okay. Falling Bane joining up over on the right-hand side, and just going to be having our few Lings continuing around the bottom right. The hatchery will come up on the far left as well, so just getting that set up. And just going to be seeing our SCV production continuing too, so now a few more Banes set up for counterattack. Maru on a, 60 workers would like to kind of up that a little bit right now as he's sitting on just the 5 racks, and he's got to make a decision. He's on double factory, so I imagine we see a 4th base soon. I mean, sooner rather than later, right, is generally the way you want to play this. The later you wait with this, the less likely it is going to be to really work out. So, these Bane's going to show up as well, looking for some of these SCVs. And Bane going to continue running in, those SCVs going down, and I think Bane will clean up, but Reynor unable to get a 4th base going is obviously problematic for himself as well. So that's absolutely going to be a continued part of the problem here. Let's just have more Banes rolling in. Oh, the Marines do not lift up really in time there. That took a lot more damage. A lot more damage went out there than I think was really expected to go out. That was definitely painful as well. So kind of across the board, some mistakes being made. Has been a little bit messy here and there. It's been fun, I guess, as well, though, as it keeps this game very interesting. Just going to have the mutas overhead. They're going to try and clean this up. The Ling Vane obviously not letting anything drop down. And this is nice because you're going to get rid of a bunch of medevacs as long as we actually do finish cleaning them up. But yeah, you're going to get rid of a bunch of medevacs. That's obviously nice to have done. So yeah, nice to just be able to do that one. As you see more bioforces coming down this bottom side now. So down they come. That's going to be seeing our we're just going to film up. They're actually going to pick off a Widow Mine. So mine gets picked off as well, taking that down. The Widow Mine goes off. Couple Lings going to get caught there. The Widow Mine will now fall. Clean that up, and that's obviously a nice little victory. Again, that cleaned up is always great. As we do have the Marines coming back in, and they are going to go for an engage onto this group of Marines, but they need to be careful. Obviously, the Marines are in pretty good numbers, so you got to respect that a little bit and not go overly crazy, of course. +3 attack on the way as well, +3/+3 actually on the way, so double upgrades continuing to power through. Again, not really surprising or anything, just worth noting. And Reynor's upgrade's not as great, not as pretty at all, in fact, as you look at the +2 melee upgrade starting, so he's way behind where he should be in upgrades. In general, I feel like he's had not the prettiest of games. Like, the resources lost isn't bad, but just a few other bits and pieces are definitely missing from what you would usually expect them to look like or expect them to be, so yeah, it definitely seems like something of a factor as we drop a few extra mules down as well, and they continue through. And we just continue to build on up. And map number 2 of this best-of-3 series. Reynor and Maru leads 1-0 at the moment. This is pulling back. I mean, obviously Maru sits on a pretty comfortable 4-base setup as well. Wouldn't say he's looking too shabby in that regard. He's looking pretty well-rounded, in fact, so that part of it looks pretty secure, as we do just have the full production continuing. Obviously wants to try and control these mutas. Because Reynor's playing the mutas, he's very late to the hive. You know, he's stuck on Ling Bay muta for a lot longer than sometimes you would like to be. But that's just kind of something that comes with kind of how he's playing, basically, right? You know, he chose to play this style, and he will have known going into playing this style that's kind of what you end up, you know, that's kind of how it ends up sometimes. And yeah, while I'm sure it's maybe not ideal, I'm sure he's also fairly aware of the situation. There's a few Banes trying to roll forward. Marine Marauder coming through. Just going to be having these mutas still trying to put on some harassment out over to the side here. Trying to do whatever possible at any point in time. It's going to be keeping the pressure up, and something Maru doesn't have the numbers to deal with just yet, so we're actually going to start killing some SCVs. Now the distraction for Maru means that Reynor's going to roll into this army. Banelings get a lot. They get Senator Towers, they get bio units. I don't hate the trade, and the mutas are still overwhelming the main base, so combined, the damage done here from Reynor is fantastic. Getting so much done right now. Really pushing into a better and better position all the time with this kind of an effort. So really good job there. As we are just going to be seeing these Marines kind of getting surrounded and ending up in a little bit of trouble, but I think it's all going to turn out to be okay. These mutas coming back in, a few more Marines taking some extra damage. He's going to try and run it over on this side. So we've seen our Ling still running through, and just going to be having the few Lings continue to counterattack. I mean, 28 SCVs now dead is obviously pretty crazy. missile turrets going off, 29 SCVs falling. I mean, again, just ridiculous damage being done from Reynor. I felt like the start of this game was rough for him, but he really turned it around as of late. Really did push this into a much better position. What a turnaround it was, because I really do think he was in, like, a lot of trouble. Again, the pressure from Maru was mounting, but he is just taking full control. And yeah, Maru's going to counterattack a bit now, but he's always going to be doing more damage himself. This is an additional 31 SCVs killed. This isn't a continuation of what he killed before. This is even more on top of what he was killing last time around, right? And that's the really crazy part, I suppose. We'll lose this base to the left-hand side, though, so that will go down. And just going to see a couple more Widow Mine shots going down as well. It is still hanging out overhead. I'm going to see Maru down the bottom right-hand side looking for another one of these bases. If he can take this base down, might open the doorway to some potentially situations where Reynor runs out of money and then Maru's efficiency could come back into play. He's 5,000 resources lost ahead at the moment. He holds 5 bases of his own, so he actually doesn't really have a mining issue outside of just the SCV count. So, I don't think I'm too crazy suggesting that's just yet, at least. Yet, I want to say, right? It's still time for things to change. 3-3 finishing from Reynor obviously will be a nice breath of fresh air, being able to be even on upgrades for the first time in the game. Remember, he was trailing more than expected on those as well, so that was definitely something else that was hurting him earlier. As you see the mutas trying to go in, and whoa, a bunch of snipes taking place. That kind of hurts. That kind of hurts a lot. I mean, you lose a whole bunch of mutas there, and you actually do kind of lose a lot of what you're kind of playing for, right? So, yeah, another reason to be a little bit cautious maybe is to just have the banelings continuing through, and extra Marauders coming up, Ling Bane, all just still in production right now. Just going to be seeing this army of Maru pulling back to the top side as these mutas fly in. They're going to go after a chunk of SCVs before going down so far. A couple of snipes going off on some mutas as well, though. Just trying to get some extra damage done. Counterattack once more from Reynor comes straight across the map. Maru is just not able to rebuild enough, and this is because Reynor's put so much pressure on. He's done such a good job of getting us to this point already, basically. So, credit where it's due. He's been doing very well there, as we do just have the Banes and the Lings continue to run on forward. Continue to just run straight on into this, as we do have our Banes going in for even more of these SCVs. 19 workers going down, and surely feels as though now Maru is going to be in a position he can't fight back from. His standing army is good. It's just not good enough at the end of the day. That's going to be in big part why this game comes to a close, because he just knows he can't make anything extra happen here. So, knowing that, that's going to be GG's, and Reynor takes game number 2, and we tie up 1-1. They tied up 1-1. It goes to what is typically one of the Terran maps in the map pool. Let's see if that has an impact here as we get this ready to begin. Top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player. This is Reynor, as in the bottom right. Our red Terran is Maru. That's a Dave Tester. Thank you so much, buddy, for the fresh new sub. Appreciate it and hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for supporting and everything else that you are doing as we jump into this map number 3. Jump on the official observer. You know, may as well take advantage of Nyal or Map who's observing, right? When it's right there in the replay, it's already loaded in, you know. May as well take advantage of it, guys. What do we think then, guys? Final map. I mean, Maru got off to a great start in that first game, and I think one of the things Maru does like about playing kind of BC/mech focused openers is that with those openers you get a much better chance of actually being able to, he had a much better chance of being able to deal, how do I want to say this? You get a much better chance of being able to, I want to say deal damage early game, right? You just get able to get across, get in, deal some damage, and while your follow-ups maybe don't happen as quickly or as powerfully, just having that chance in the first place, I think, is already kind of a very nice position to be in. And I think that's what Maru likes about it, because he believes if he does get those leads, because he has so many more aggressive options, more Hellions to throw around, etc., I think he truly believes he can just, win the game off the back of that. So I feel like that first game was an exception. He did more than just kind of damage. He did game-ending damage, right? So, yeah. But definitely something to consider as we get set up. Reactor is down on the barracks, and we get all this rolling. And in this map number 3, definitely expecting some fireworks as the hatchery goes down. One of the things that Reynor said talked a lot about last year when he won Katowice when it was online, was that he said, something I want to recapture even in my play is that, when we played it online, is that my defense in ZVT was so good. I took no damage early game. And by taking no damage early game, it put me in prime position to just win games. I got to go into the mid game in a great position. That's why I excel, because I'm a fast player. I get to play those Ling Bane run-bys in that scenario. And, from there, he just absolutely loved it. So, yeah, kind of, maybe expecting to see a little bit more of that kind of idea. Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things he really did talk about, and, really mentioned, like, he thinks that's one of the reasons he was able to have such a good run, etc. Definitely something to keep in mind. Just thought it was a cool little tidbit. It was something that I thought was very neat when I heard him talking about and stuff, so. Couple queens hanging out. The Hellions are coming around as well. It's just going to be seen at early games being pretty standard. We are going to be seeing a Fusion Core, by the way, so it's going to get that as a guarantee coming up at the moment. Nice to see some more BCs, I guess, because like I said, I do think Maru has been one of the players that can make Mech work, and so it's always very interesting to then see that kind of play out, especially over on this different, it's a different server, right? We're actually going to see the players we're playing without ping. And it's kind of funny, because I feel like a lot of the time we're talking about Maru playing Mech, because there's, it's like, oh, well, it's better for playing with ping, and that is true. Then he kept on playing Mech, and he still has been playing Mech. And that's something which I think has really been a very interesting thing to see, even though we've kind of moved on to offline offenses, that Maru still thinks Mech is good. It kind of makes it funny, because so many people said when Reynor beat Maru in that season finals last year, so many people were like, oh man, Maru was Maru lost because he felt like he had to play Mech, because otherwise he was just, you know what I mean? Otherwise he was just, never going to win with the ping. And it's like, well, yet he's still playing Mech, right? It just kind of makes me giggle a little bit. I like it when people that complain and create excuses and stuff get showed up a little bit. Mostly because then they kind of rush to kind of find something else to justify their silly opinions with, but that's okay. There's a bit of Marine Hellion pressure here again, similar to that first game, just wants to get the pressure going. I don't think Reynor is A, going to let this 8 do as much damage initially, but B, obviously as well, I don't think he's going to let this BC on the follow-up then do as much, because he's not going to take any damage initially. The BC last time won the game because this first push basically won the game. It set Reynor up into an almost unholdable position when he got around to this stage, so yeah, nice to switch that part of it up a little bit, as we do have our queens just hanging out down on the bottom side. And just going to be seeing those few Hellions are going to go for a little run by in as well, try and see if they can get up to any trouble or anything. And just going to be getting rid of a little bit. Alrighty, so a little bit of damage being done. There goes the BC. A few drones went down so far. Nothing overly crazy, to be fair. I think some, very manageable setup so far. And just going to be seeing our BC going through, tapping away that Overlord. And a few Hellions and Marines also just trying to come in and see if they really can make anything happen or not. Hey, what's up, Akari Warrior 83? Thank you so much for the 10-month in a row. 13-month total resub. Sorry, I keep saying those the wrong way around. Usually I don't really mention the in a rows, but I just read that one the wrong way around. It's like I say, I guess it's been a while since we've had the I've done all the streamer things, you know. I'd have been casting StarCraft in Poland, but I wasn't shouting out subs, to tell you that much. Alien Run By gets 12 workers. Good damage when Reynor's not even on a huge worker count himself so far. I mean, definitely a step in the right direction to start things out with. So that's pretty cool to see from Maru being able to kind of take Reynor down a notch and just slow him down in the game. That's what this mech kind of style gives you. You get more run-by potential because you've just got more workers to work with than usual. And that definitely goes a pretty long way to helping out as we continue to set up here. Just going to be having our BC back home getting repaired. We are going into Yamato. We are going into full-on vehicle weapon upgrades. Obviously, the extra factories have been down for a little while. Been alluding to the idea that this is going to be mech for a little bit already, and of course it is. As a couple of Hellions will get in and these Lings will get cleaned out, so just going to see the Lings not doing much. I mean, gathering more info, but then the question is kind of what info is there to really gather at this point in time, I suppose, and the answer to that is not a lot. It's going back down. BC's taking a few shots of damage. Hellions coming back through. The roaches are right there to be able to deal with that, so well, they're right there, but the Hellions still dive through, and that's still going to be 13 workers killed. To tell you what, I don't think Reynor's ever going to get to like a really comfortable point in economy if it continues like this. These BCs are going to fire up a storm, the Queens are going to fight back a little bit as well, so that's a bit of back and forth that we get going. As BC teleports back down that bottom side, just going to be seeing all of these Queens still hanging around as well. Some Marines and tanks all setting up. BC has to teleport out of trouble again, but that's just something we've been seeing going on pretty much consistently, so continued harassment from Maru is not going to be all too questionable or anything. Pretty much just what we're expecting to see. Still coming through, and just going to be having our CC going to land over the right hand side, getting a fourth base up and running. Again, it's a lot been about kind of just how Maru has been harassing, and I mean, that's kind of how the ZVT goes when you're the mech player. There's very few chances for the Zerg to counterattack, and the ones that, you know, those opportunities that present themselves are not always the best idea to commit into, you know? Sometimes you're better off just kind of letting the Terran attack you and just rebuilding off the back of that and not giving up your units on counterattack. At some stage, yes, you want to start denying that economy, but that doesn't need to be right away. That doesn't need to be immediately, you know? And there can be a little bit of time before that happens, so... Hey, what's up, Size Zero? Thank you so much for the 6-month resub on that Prime. Hell yeah. Thank you so much, and welcome back. DC's coming in, Cryptium's being cleaned out. We're going to turn Yamato down a whole chunk of Corruptors. Corruptors taking a bunch of damage then, and I'm going to be pushed away as we have the Hellions continuing their way through. Some more of this creep spread, so even more creep getting cleaned out here. I'm just going to be seeing our Queens pushed away as well. Just going to be having our Planetary Fortress coming up. The Ghost Academy coming through as well, by the way. Just getting set up into a lot of that at the moment. As tanks get going, extra barracks, by the way, as well. I mean, this is the stage of the game where Maru just is comfortable in his mech army, and so he starts to build into those ghosts. And of course, ghosts are great to have because, naturally, they just deal very well with a lot of the Zerg units. The sniper is a pretty powerful ability, so being able to bring that into play is likely a pretty big deal here. I imagine a big part of what Maru is aiming for. He gets a Raven on the way as well, so we'll have that as an addition. He's building a very complex army. Now, this is an army that's going to become very complicated very quickly. You're going to have to be very careful with how you're approaching this, actually. That's got the potential to become pretty tough as these few VCs try and escape away. Gonna turn around and drop a bunch of Yamato cannons down, so just do the typical BC thing, the BC tax. Run in, some Yamatos, and then you run on out of there. Roaches clean up those Hellions, which get 8 more drones. Again, the worker kill count is continuing to rise, 43 now, so that damage has been pretty consistent throughout so far. A little bit more creep getting picked off as well. Queen's getting a couple of transfuses up and running. And just going to be seeing our Broodlords taking a step forward as well. So Brood's coming forward, further forward onto the map at the moment here. And we're just going to be seeing our tanks trying to get out of there. BC's coming through as well. A lot going on all of a sudden as see what comes out of this. The Broodlords continue to press on forward. The preparation for Broodlords is more or less just going to be ghosts, and that isn't ideal, to be honest, right? The ghosts are something which typically you would kind of like to just have with Thor support. We're going to see a Yamato cannon going off, but the first BC going down. The Corruptor's able to just fight through this basically throughout this as well, so doing decently there. And as the BCs continue, the Broodlords continue through, the Corruptor's coming across, and we are going to have a continuation of, well, this attack from Reynor, but maybe shouldn't be. Snipes go down, and those Broods take a beating. Taking a whole ton of damage right away, so that hurts. Corruptors are on the bottom side, though. They're going to caustic spray down this base, and this planetary fortress will die. Our supply is not looking pretty, and I think Reynor's continuing because he truly believes he has a chance just to end this game right now, and that is exactly what he is looking for. So, looking to pretty much end the game right here. Corruptors continue to come on through. They will probably get this BC unless it has a teleport, which it does not. And now just Ling Roach streaming through as well. So Ling Roach Ravager, I mean, just anything you can build at this point is Reynor just to stream across and just basically just keep on fighting, right? Just keep the pressure going. Don't get the Terran a chance to rebuild here, of course. That's the last thing you want as these Corruptors set up on the planetary fortress once again. It's just Roachling Ravager everywhere. This base is going to go down. The economy of Maui being shattered from 4 bases and almost 5 bases now down to 3. And I really just don't think it's going to start looking better for him anytime soon. It really is not a pretty place to be right now. Not at all. I was going to see how CC's trying to set up and trying to reestablish some locations on the map here, but not feeling overly confident as you see Ling Bane Roach moving through. The Thor count obviously there to help against the Broods, but the Broods are gone, right? The Broods have been dealt with at this stage. They are no longer an issue. It's going to be seeing the Bane Ravager still coming through, and I think definitely looking as though I'm going to have ourselves a pretty nifty little situation here very soon, right, where Reynor's just going to be able to max out and just go and go and go. I don't really know what you do then as the Terran play. I feel like at that point you're in a whole bundle of trouble. Things coming through, Hellbat's coming forward, a little bit of a skirmish there already as we settle on down. Just going to be seeing the Banes coming forward and connecting in on the siege tanks. The tanks taking a bunch of damage as well. As the few Ravagers going to get shot down. I mean, the Ghosts are sniping and they are being heroes right now, hanging out in the back and doing a fantastic job of just keeping this going. So those Ghosts keeping this game alive for the moment. These Broodlords are going to drop down some Broodlings, and they are going to be landing in towards that planetary fortress as well. So that starts to take a chunk of damage. Ghost, CC, all getting set up, and just going to be having the scans coming out of me. Maru trying to assess the situation. Well, the situation is it's pretty bad for you, mate. Not exactly where you want to be, as Flings are going to come running through. 190 versus 145 supply. The Bane's coming through as well. Blinding Cloud on the front of these first few tanks. It's going to fade away, though, and that means that these tanks are going to be able to clean this up, I think. I think that might have been a step too far there for Reynor. Not quite getting as far forward as he maybe would have liked to. That's going to be seeing the Ghosts and the Hellbats do come through there and push that back, so another reasonable moment or so as Reynor just obviously is looking for that one fight to clean up, and he's obviously going to keep on doing this because he's got the entire map. He's got base after base to work from, so I imagine he's just going to keep on doing more of the same here. There's not really much reason to let it up, to be fair, so I really don't imagine that he will. I think he's just going to keep this going. It's coming through, Hellbat's coming in. SCV's going down, just going to be seeing a little bit of damage being done. It's across the board. I mean, Reynor is looking to just keep on pushing, but I mean, it's kind of getting a little bit annoying at this point, I imagine. He's kind of throwing a bunch of units at Maru, and he refuses to die for the moment. He just keeps on holding on. Like I say, Reynor just has bases for days, though, and if he keeps on just taking those expansions and making sure he's mining from everywhere on the map, there just can't possibly be the resources needed. I mean, Maru is only trading 7k resources better. Yeah, that will continue to improve, but there just can't be the resources that he needs to do this forever. You know, right now it feels like he'll never die, but that just can't actually be the case. It can't actually work like that, guys, I promise you. At least I don't think so. I've casted StarCraft for quite a few years, and I'm pretty sure that's how it works. From a position like this, we are going to kill a base off on the right side as well. Obviously nice for Reynor if he can do that, because obviously it just helps you, right? Keeps you in a good little position. Keeps things going in the right kind of direction. Banes, Ravages all coming through and trying to get set up here. So you see now Ravages moving forward. The tank position is gone to the low ground. The problem is Reynor's always just attacking in from one angle, it feels like, and that's obviously not exactly helping him out at all. This CC is going to move back over the right-hand side and try and take a position over here, but there is creep spread that's going to be blocking it, so plan CC will not be able to land, so that's going to be halting on that plan. Ravages taking a beating as well, man. I swear down, you know, meant to be... I mean, Reynor just can't seem to find the fight, and I guess it's because obviously Maru is just in one kind of hold-up position and you're always attacking in from one angle, so Maru's units are very effective in those scenarios. 10,000 resources lost better for Maru now than it is for Reynor, but again, does that matter when there are so many bases of Reynor on the map? I don't think it should, quite frankly. It shouldn't. Actually, I'll just go ahead and say it should not matter. I don't think that should make so much of a difference at all. As 15 SCVs have gone down, the SCV is going to, you know, surround and repair that Thor now as well, so I'll get brought back to HP, and just going to be seeing these Lings still running by. Another 19 SCVs have died. Of course, Reynor as well, you could also argue at some point could maybe sacrifice some drones. 96 workers is allowing him to run in repeatedly, but it also means every army he runs in with is not exactly the best army there is, because he could have had even more stuff if he was down 20 drones or so. But then if you do that, one big push is more powerful, but you can't reinforce those pushes as well, so it's kind of an awkward in-between that you're trying to figure out. Yeah, it is kind of an awkward in-between, actually, as you see the Ravager Bane setting up. A few snipers are going to line up as well, trying to come on through here, and just going to get some shots off towards those Ravagers, and Bane lines do a little bit more damage. Ghosts have been absolutely fantastic, just continuing to snipe down throughout. And so much done. Reynor just needs to obviously keep himself calm and collected, right? Just think a little bit about what's going on. Say, right, you know what? I don't need to kind of rush into anything here. This is still fine for me if I just kind of, you know, continue along. This is no issue. Just let this continue to play out as 10 SCVs will go down. And SCV's going down once again. I mean, Maru just taking SCV hits that he can't rebuild, surely. He's actually going to start seemingly pressing forward himself at the moment, so... Pressing forward there and trying to do something. I mean, to be fair, at some point you've got to make a move, right? And he's just hoping that right now is maybe being the chance. 104 army supply, it's terrifying. If Reynor can't clean this up, and this continues for too long, this could genuinely be scary. This could actually be a problem. Let's find out. A couple drones going down. The Ling Ravager looking to come in from the south. Units coming in from the left side. In we go. Flooding forward. The tanks are dropping. And this genuinely does feel like a cleanup. No. No. Oh my god. Maru still won't die. Getting some snipes off from his ghost yet again. Continuing to trade decently. And his army supply still in the lead here despite everything else that has gone on. It has still not come to a close just yet. This is still going on. Wow. Things counter-attacking once again. I mean, the problem is for Maru, it's going to take him forever to clean out all the bases of Reynor, because Reynor has the entire freaking map. Mech army is slow, and of course, there's not enough of it to really split up, so he will be able to go and clean up some bases, but because Reynor has top right and bottom left, that's just such a flood that you can't really do anything about. Reynor just running lings around, clearing up whatever he can, wherever he can. Those SCVs are down at only 15, so just again making sure Maru has really zero reproduction on the back end of this, right? Just guaranteeing that once this army is dealt with, it is pretty much a done game. And it is absolutely that case. He just needs to clean up. He doesn't even need to win the fight per se, he just needs to clean up. Whether it's in 2 fights, 3 fights, or whatever. He's running out of money, though. He only has a little bit of minerals and gas left. Maru is really making an effort of this, which is impressive because he really should have been... I don't want to say he should have been dead right away, but I feel like he should have run out of steam, and there's no way I think he should have been able to put on a fight that's lasted this long and been so effective, right? I mean, this is really getting to the point of ridiculousness. You know, that you can't... I mean, it's just getting crazy. This is crazy, you know? It's absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Alas, here we are. Maru doing Maru things as we continue through. Ghost moving around and just going to be having the drones in a bit of trouble there as well. Hellbats and Ghost going to go down the bottom side, so down the bottom they go. How is this mech army still on the map and being like, well, like, why am I still worried, you know? I mean, this time Reynor actually has a higher army supply though, so he's finally getting to that point where he's done enough, I think, but like, why did we have to go through so much stress to get here? Like I say, only Maru can really make Mech look good, and this time it really looked like Mech was never meant to lose. GG is called, and it is going to be Reynor to take the series 2-1. Oh my goodness, the Mech army that never dies. Immortal Mech army, huh? Like, did they hire some Protoss units? Because there was some immortal units in there that felt like absolutely mental. GG's, and Reynor does take a 2-1 over Maru. But just wow still. Just